Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, where I'm reporting directly from Magento Live here in Barcelona. And the event is all about using technology to drive experience-driven commerce. The concept sounds great, sure, but I want to try and put a little meat on the bones and speak with people from industries that you don't necessarily associate with technology, but are transforming their businesses with experiences and with technology. For example, if I was to ask you your opinion or what you know about Rossignol, I suspect you would say something along the lines of French manufacturer of skis, snowboards, as well as related outerwear or accessories, but not necessarily say the word technology at any point. And this is what's so interesting to me, and a great example of how tech is not only transforming our lives, it's every business and every industry. Damien Hars is the head of digital and marketing and e-commerce at Rossignol, and what stood out for me over the last few days was when he was on stage with the leaders of Magento and Adobe. Now, it must have been an incredibly daunting experience going on stage with the leaders of these two huge companies, and just before Bruce Dickinson entered the stage. But he was fantastic and made the whole thing look effortless. But the big takeaway was that some of the biggest companies in the world were sitting in the audience of what he and his team were achieving at Rossignol. But enough spoilers from me. I managed to grab a few words with Damien before he dashed to another keynote. So buckle up, hold on tight, as I beam your ears all the way back to Barcelona so we can speak with Damien Hars, head of digital marketing and e-commerce at Rossignol. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for welcoming me in your podcast. So my name is Damien Hars. I'm today in charge of digital marketing and e-commerce for the Rossignol Group. I have spent 10 years in the Rossignol Group. I started my career basically there 10 years ago at the end of 2007, and I was basically in charge of the web for the Rossignol brands. And 10 years ago, the web for the Rossignol brand was basically one website, one marketing website and one blog, and we started to put some videos on YouTube. It was just that, and social media didn't exist. Years after years, it became a really strategic asset for the company. We have developed digital marketing for many brands, many countries. We have started e-commerce a few years ago as well, and now the digital and the e-commerce is a strategic asset. And we speak about digital in every meeting, at the board meeting every 3 months. It becomes very, very important for our top direction and for the vision of the company. And I'm managing this for all the brands at the international level today.
So when most people think about your brand, they automatically think of a French manufacturer of skis, snowboards, as well as related outerwear and accessories, but not necessarily about technology. So can you tell me a little bit how you embrace technology and the effects it's had on your business?
Yes, you're right, because we are Rossignol was born in 1907. So more than 1 century ago. Yeah. And when people think about Rossignol, they think about history, authenticity, handcraft products. So they don't really think about technology at the first time. But that being said, we have always been in a very innovative company, working with top world-class racers, big athletes in every categories. Nordic skiing, snowboarding, alpine skiing is the most famous sport for us. And we have always been investing a lot of money and energy in technology for our products. Mm-hmm. We know that today product is not enough. We must sell product plus service, or let's say experience. And we must invest in that area as well, in innovation, in customer experience. So naturally, we had to go deeper in those topics, and we had to invest in a web platform, in CRM software, in social media monitoring software as well, to be just to follow the best practices in terms of digital marketing. And months after months, years after years, we became, let's say, a player in the digital marketing. Of course, we are fighting every day against strong competitors as well. Mm-hmm. We are working closely with our retailers as well, because some of them they have also invested a lot in digital, and we have to find the best solution to help them sell more products. But at the same time, we are going B2C, direct to consumer with our own brands and our own products. So to manage that properly, you need technology, and technology is the base of everything, and with organization, of course. So good technology with good organization, for us, it's the base of success. And that's true. Today, I think we are a technology company because we have a big setup with many softwares, many data, and we must work with that on a daily basis. But we are still producing skis, good skis, and good clothes as well. Yeah. So we work in parallel in the two topics.
I also saw you on stage yesterday with Mark Lavelle from Magento, and I was inspired by how you turned to technology to go from just being a B2B brand to a consumer-centric brand. So can you tell me more about the challenges you encountered and your journey from one back-end system to one back-end system from multiple countries worldwide?
It was a big journey, and as I said yesterday on stage with Mark Lavelle, it was a joke, but it was not a plug-and-play project, of course. Yeah. It started... let's say 4 years ago, when we really decided to go direct to consumer with a real strategy. We started that a little bit earlier, but just as a marketing program, let's say a communication program, to be more involved with the end users of our products. But after a few years of pure marketing, we just decided to switch to business. I mean, and it's the story. I think we must follow the consumers' trends, the needs. And now most of the consumers, they want to buy from the brand directly. Yeah. And sometimes they will continue to buy from retailers, but we must at least propose the service and a best-in-class service. So it started like that, starting with the Rossignol brand to open e-commerce in France as a test. And we were quite innovative because we wanted to involve our retail network in this project. When I speak about retail, I mean our retailers, but not our own retail, but all the Rossignol resellers. Mm-hmm. So we decided to start e-commerce with a web-to-store strategy. So meaning that end consumers will be able to order online and to ship the product to one of our retail stores. It started like that, and of course you need technology, you need different systems and a lot of data transfer between the systems. And the pilot in France worked very well because on the first year, more than 40% of our orders, online orders, were shipped to the stores. So we were able to drive very qualified traffic to the stores. Mm-hmm. And we gave commission to the store as well when the product was delivered to their own store. And we decided to replicate this system to other countries, first in Europe and now in North America as well. So yeah, the thing is, Europe is not one country. Yeah. Even if some people from America think that we are only one country. Unfortunately, we have many languages, many currencies, and so it becomes a big project when you want to sell properly in Europe. You have different payment methods, you have different languages, you have different cultures. So even the web merchandising is different from one country to the other. So to do that, you need skills internally. So that's really when we started the digitalization of the company. We just realized that there were two big topics: technology first, and organization, and internal organization. We come from one century of B2B. Mm-hmm. People at Rossignol, they have never spoken to an end consumer, actually. We have sold product to shop for one century, and now we want to sell product to end consumers. So it just impacts everything. You need to create end consumer customer service. It didn't exist 5 years ago. You need to work with different carriers. It's just a big mess in the company. Yeah. So we had to hire many people to manage that at the customer service and at the digital marketing service as well.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned customer service here there, because the big theme here this year at Magento Live, of course, is experience-driven commerce. So can you help people listening visualise what that concept is by telling them a little bit more about the experiences you provide for your customers?
Yes, we really realized as soon as you speak to consumers, you get some feedback and you sometimes get some requests. It can be positive, it can be negative. But you have to deal with that on a daily basis. You cannot just be behind your screen writing some emails or posting on Facebook. You need sometimes to just be on the phone with customers, and it's a real job. I mean, it's a real job. So we had to invest in technology to manage that properly. And today we are working with Salesforce to manage all the customer support. And we really need a close collaboration between the digital marketing team and the customer service. In the past, we were two different teams in the company. Let's say one bunch of people just putting stuff on the newsletter on Facebook, and the other team at the customer service just managing the problems, basically. And we really decided to merge that and to be more collaborative. And today we cannot launch any new initiative on the web without speaking with the customer service before, and be all coordinated together before we launch a new online game, sales operation, or whatever. So it's a collaborative team internally.
So you've been on a significant transformation, and if we have a business leader listening that's inspired by what you've achieved, I mean, what kind of advice would you pass down to them to reach similar goals to what you've done? And are there any big lessons that you've learned along the way?
Well, I mean, we just did what we did, and we tried to learn and improve every year. We have still a very seasonal business, which is great because we can say that we have period of the year when we can prepare everything for the next season, and then we have the peak season, and it's just a fire on every services. And the thing is, we cannot miss the season. So maybe what we could improve, and my recommendation will be to be very careful to not launch too many projects at the same time for the next season. And we are just evolving in this new technology world. We want to launch everything at the same time. We want to have a new CRM system. We want to have a new e-commerce. We want to open e-commerce to new countries and new brand. Everything at the same time. It's really tough to manage, and it's risky as well, because sometimes it's just much better to maybe focus on 2 or 3 big priorities, manage it properly, launch the website, get the feedback, and then improve for the next summer or next winter. Sometimes I think we did too many things at the same time, and it's then very, very difficult for the team internally to manage that, and it needs a lot of energy. That's it.
Yeah. So presumably, though, if you're excelling at wowing your customers with experiences, when these experiences become the standard for your customers are going to struggle to go anywhere else that cannot provide that bar that you have set. So how long do you think it will be until that reality becomes a huge challenge for people like your competitors that are actually late to the game and can't provide those experiences that you're already providing?
I think some of our competitors are almost at the same level. I mean, we are all going in that direction for sure. And I think anyway, the reality comes naturally to you with the consumers, because consumers, they are now contacting us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, by phone, by email, and basically we just have to react to that. We cannot just stay like that and wait for the next century and see what we will do. So we have to get organized. We have to train people internally to switch from a pure B2B business to B2B2C and B2C, direct to consumer. So people must be able to answer to a request on Facebook. They must be able to understand our strategy on e-commerce. They must also understand that the D2C is not going to kill the wholesale business, because it's absolutely not the case. And we have proven that at Rossignol, because since we have started our e-commerce strategy 5 years ago, our wholesale business is growing every year. So we have we didn't kill the wholesale business. And I know it's a big topic in many companies. We don't want to go direct to consumer because we are very scared about the reaction of the retail network. But actually, you just increase the visibility of your brands, of your product, so you naturally increase the demand. And people now, they are going, one day they are going to buy online on their computer. Maybe the day after they are going to buy on their smartphone while they are in the bus or in the subway. And maybe the day after they just want to shop in a real shop because they want to touch the product. And there is no one way to buy a product. There are multiple choices, and we just need to give solution for every choices.
Now that Magento is part of Adobe, is there anything that excites you about being able to drive customer experiences even further?
We are very excited about this new move with Magento and Adobe, and I don't really know, to be honest, I don't know what to expect today. I know that most of my creative team today is working on Adobe products. They are working on Photoshop, InDesign. All our graphic designers are working on Adobe, and all our e-commerce users are working on Magento. Yeah. So there must be something to do, of course. Yeah. If it's more integrated, it will probably help us to reduce the time to market for probably the new product launch, the new collection launch, because we will probably be able to create more brand content directly in Magento backend, and to push that online very quickly, and probably quicker than what we do today. For me, that's the next move. But I'm waiting to see exactly what we are going to get from Magento and Adobe. It was a big announcement this week in Barcelona. Let's see what's really concretely happen in the next months.
So you've had a fantastic couple of days. I've seen you on stage with Mark Lavelle, and also you obviously shared the stage. Well, you've been on the same stage with Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, which is something you'll be able to dine out on for years to come, I'm sure.
Totally crazy, yeah, totally crazy. This guy is wonderful. I mean, it's. I'm really happy to be on stage before him and not after, because after his keynote, it was just. What can you do after that?
So what have you enjoyed about your time at Magento Live, and is there anything you'll be taking back home with you?
Yes, it was a very good week here. I have met very good partners. Just before this interview, I was speaking with the key accounts, so all Magento merchants, and we had some discussion about the omnichannel strategy, internationalization, some key topics where everybody has some questions. We don't really know how to manage that. What's the best option? Is there a best option? Not sure. So it's very interesting for us to share experiences with other clients, and it's probably what I appreciate the most here during this show. And Bruce Dickinson, of course, because this keynote was absolutely crazy, and it was for me totally unbelievable to be on stage with Mark Lavelle, CEO of Magento. I'm just in charge of the digital marketing for a ski company, a ski brand, and yes, it's a famous brand, but we are small actually. We are not a big company. We have a famous brand. It's super exciting to be in the sport business and now in the fashion business as well. But we feel small as compared to Magento and Adobe. And during the keynote, I was sitting between Mark Lavelle and the CEO of Adobe, and I was like, what I'm doing here. Very exciting.
Oh, I love it. Well, I know you're incredibly busy. You've got to dash to another keynote in just a few moments. But before I do let you go, can I just ask that you point the listeners in the direction of where they can keep up to speed with what you guys are doing, and maybe even reach out to a member of your team if they have any questions about our conversation today?
We have a blog. You can find many information about our activities, but mainly in the sports business on Rossignol.com, or you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and all the social network. We don't really post information about our corporate activities, but we are going to launch a new website for the group Rossignol, where you will find all information about our financial business, and we'll probably add more information about our strategy, omnichannel retail, and all this kind of thing. It's under construction. It will go live in the coming weeks, so you can go on group rossignol.com to check that.
Excellent. Well, a huge thank you for joining me today. I love what you guys are doing. Let's stay in touch and maybe get you back on the show in 6 months and see how that journey is progressing. But more than anything, just a big thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for this interview. It was very amazing to be there.
Like I said at the beginning of this episode, Damien was on stage with the leaders from Magento and Adobe, and for me, that moment felt like a complete game changer. It seemed to be an indicator of just how much tech is changing the business landscape. It no longer matters the size of your business or how much money you can throw at something. It really is about creating those meaningful experiences and being able to move much more quickly and adapt. Some big businesses are struggling to keep up the pace with their legacy systems and the shackles of their own internal processes, and phrases like, "but we've always done it this way." And despite their incredible achievements, the guys at Rossignol are incredibly humble. But they're making experiences look incredibly easy. And they're unwittingly sending a big wake-up call to those bigger businesses that are starting to see the art of the possible and what they need to do. So the message I'm taking home from Magento Live is it's not about big business or the tech industry. It's about every business. It's about every industry creating experiences to meet the expectations of their customers. And again, it's the customers that are driving these changes, and businesses must keep up. Each and every one of us has a standard of expectations where the bar is constantly being raised. And if companies can't keep meeting those expectations and excelling them, they're going to quickly run into trouble because they're just going to go somewhere else where somebody will give them that experience. But hey, that's my thoughts. What do you think about today's episode? The subject of experience-driven commerce, and indeed anything at all. My door is always open to each and every one of you, and you can reach me by emailing me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter @NeilCHughes, and my website, techblogwriter.co.uk/podcast, and you'll find a nice easy way of leaving me a virtual voicemail that we can play on the show too. So keep those messages, thoughts and insights coming through, but it's time for me to get out of here. We're at the end of another show, but I will be back tomorrow with another great guest and another great story of how technology is transforming their business. So a big thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.